And we're joined by the Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council, Mathew Dickerson. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Very good, thanks, Rod. Just my throat's a bit hoarse after cheering at the footy all day yesterday.
It was a good crowd there at Apex Oval?
Yeah, fantastic. We had 11,124, which is a few more than we had last year. There were about 10,800 last year at the Panthers match. The poor old South Sydney Rabbitohs, though, they do a great job. They come out early, they go South Cares, they get around to the schools, they really get involved in the community, but last year they really got touched up by the Panthers, and this year they should have really won the game against the Raiders, but they went down 32-12. So I'm not sure they'll be that keen to come back on the football field. They love coming back to the community of Dubbo. They love the ground. They love everything that council does for them in the surroundings. But, gee, the players just need to make it happen on the field, unfortunately.
Oh, they need to get you as an assistant coach or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well that'll go.
Give them a bit of a wrap-up at the start.
Yes, but look, they are good matches when we bring those matches out regionally. It does cost the community money. I mean, the standard fee is $350,000 for a team to come out to a regional area. Every time you see those matches played regionally, when the NRL says we're taking the game to the bush, it costs that community $350,000 or thereabouts. Some teams charge a little bit more than that. But again, what it injects into the economy, what it does for the overall community, again, from those 11,124 people at Dubbo yesterday, how many of those came from around the region, how many travelled, how many spent money in Dubbo. So it's that real balancing act in terms of making sure we keep bringing those games out, but making sure the community gets a good benefit from it as well.
There's that saying in business, you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it is great. I mean, I walked around the ground yesterday, just basically to all parts of the ground, and you could just see people enjoying themselves, families there, grandfathers with grandkids just enjoying the footy. So it's a great atmosphere there. And again, it's good to have high-quality matches. You can go along and do the same thing at a variety of different matches, and often pre-season matches, charity shield matches, those type of events sometimes occur. But when it's competition points, when you know it's for real, when you know it's serious, that's when you get the highest quality versions of the game.
And do you see many of the accommodation places booked out? Is it really bringing a lot of people across the divide into the west?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You see accommodation places, you see hotels, motels, cafes, restaurants. They all really benefit out of it. Even retail trade, you probably say that people are in the community, so while they've got a spare couple of hours before the game, they might just duck downtown and buy a few things while they're there as well. But obviously all those hospitality and accommodation providers, they're the ones that really benefit, because people might come and stay the night before, they might stay the night of the match, they might go to the match and have a few beers and know they can't drive home, so they just stay in town for the night. So all those sort of providers benefit from it, but it also gets to show off Dubbo. It gets to show off Dubbo on national TV, so you just hear the conversations, you hear on radio, you hear on TV, Dubbo this, Dubbo that, and so I think just in general it's a good advertising package for the city.
Oh, absolutely, and you believe the Dubbo Regional Council will continue with this?
Well, that's the big decision to make going forward. We've been given some money from the state government for the last 2 years. $150,000 came from the state government last year and this year. So the council contribution has been $200,000. For us to break even on the event this year, we needed to get around about that $10,500. So we'll break even on that. We'll make a few dollars on it. But we've got to have that discussion with the community and say it is a risk. When we go and put $350,000 on the table, especially if the state government doesn't come in the future, then we need to make sure that we're going to be a pretty good bet to get our money back. If not, the contribution to the community and what it means to the community has got to be worth it. So we'll have that conversation with the community and we'll work out whether or not we want to go forward. From a community aspect, it's really up to them as to whether or not they want this to continue on. And maybe it gets to the point when you have so many matches, suddenly the crowd drops down to 5,000 and then you'd say, well, it's not worth it. So you still want to keep it exciting and the community interest keen.
All right, let's move on to this week. The Dubbo Show's on.
Yeah, the Dubbo Show. It seems like we're in show season. I was over at the Mayoral show just a week or so ago. Wellington show was on Saturday. You got the Dubbo show coming up this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the show, I remember as a kid, it was always exciting looking towards the show and just some of the rides and some of the things you get to see at the show you don't get to see maybe anywhere else anytime throughout the year. So it's pretty exciting. There's a whole range of activities on. The pavilions, obviously lots of people have been getting their things together to enter in various competitions. But again, it's going to be back to a normal-ish crowd. It's great to see the restrictions are lifted and most people are getting out and about. Some people are still a bit COVID aware, and I get that. Some people are still catching COVID every now and again, so it restricts some people being able to go out and about. But I expect a huge crowd there over the 3 days because people are loving the fact that they can get out and about again.
All right. Now, how can people be involved? People are coming from regional areas. Do they need to buy tickets at the gate, or is there some other way?
Yeah, you can buy tickets at the gate, and 123 Ticks is where you can also buy tickets for the Dubbo show. So I'm sure you can get them at the gate, but 123 Ticks, you can go and buy those tickets before you go along to the show and just turn up with your ticket ready to go.
Now, in Sydney on Thursday, you're selling the region again.
Yeah, we've got this great big adventure pass that we've been pushing as a way to really get people to stay in Dubbo a bit longer. One of the great challenges we've got in Dubbo is that we've got this fantastic zoo. There's about 300,000 people a year come to the zoo, and 2/3 of those say the primary reason they've come to Dubbo is because of the zoo. So that's fantastic. But once we've got them here, we want to try and hold on to them a bit longer. So we want other things for them to do, other things for them to see while they're here. So we've come up with this concept with what's called the Great Big Adventure Pass. So you buy a Great Big Adventure Pass, you get to the zoo, you get to the Royal Flying Doctor Service Experience Centre or Visitor Experience Centre, you get to the Wellington Caves, you get to the Old Dubbo Jail. So it's a range of things for you to do just on one pass. So on this Thursday, we've got a media event down in Sydney where we're pitching to a whole group of Sydney media this concept of the Great Big Adventure Pass, obviously trying to get them to write stories about it in Sydney media. We want them to come out and visit us, the media in the first place, but then obviously people from Sydney to come out. And this is really on the back of one of the issues that I can see for regional areas going forward is we've had great regional visitation over the last couple of years when international borders have been closed down. But once international borders are opening up, which they are now obviously, then some of those people that have been missing out on their holidays to the Swiss Alps or Paris or going to Aspen for their skiing holiday, they're going to start going back overseas and not spending their money regionally. So we're really trying to pitch to those Sydney people, we are still here, international borders may be open, but there's still some great adventures to have out in regional areas. So that's the whole pitch for this Thursday, and that Great Big Adventure Pass already exists, but this is really the hard push into that Sydney market. So I'll be interested to see how that goes and how the reaction is from some of the Sydney media.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting pass to have, so maybe us out in the further west, the far west, should get hold of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, obviously it's not just for people in Sydney, it's for people from absolutely anywhere. The market we're really trying to get into is that Sydney market because they're the ones that really don't know what we've got out in regional areas. The other great part is when you get those people from Sydney to somewhere like Dubbo, you get them attracted to the zoo, for example, then there is the region for them to discover as well. So they can get out and see the Brewarrina fish traps or get out to Lightning Ridge, go and see Stan the emu or get out and see the Big Bogan or maybe the Parkes telescope. So there's a range of things that people will do around the region. We know once they travel out, they normally travel out in those holiday areas by car, not by plane. And so once they're here, they can go and base themselves in Dubbo and then go and do some trips out to some of these places around the area. So it benefits the entire region.
Mathew Dickerson, always good to talk to you. Have a good week.
Thanks, Rod.
That's Mathew Dickerson, Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council on 2WEB.